All right, Shalom Israel, coming back at y'all with another breakdown, and I'm gonna give all praises and glory to the Most High Yahweh, which the world calls God, and Yahweh Shai, which the world calls Jesus Christ. And my breakdown today is gonna be on the role of a woman, right? Because when coming in this truth, as a woman, you can't just do what you want, right? Pretty much anybody, you can't just come in this truth and just do what you want and say that you're in the truth or that you love the Most High, right? You gotta follow the commandments that's set upon you, right? Or the role that is given to you, you gotta take that role, right? So I'm gonna show y'all the role of a woman today. So I'm gonna go to First Timothy 2 and verse 9. And like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, right? So he's saying to truly adorn yourself, right? And you have to do this, right? It says, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, right? So modest apparel is dresses. Females, you gotta wear dresses, right? A lot of y'all don't want to hear that. Oh, it's gonna be cold in the wintertime. Oh, I can't wear dresses. Well, if you really love the Most High, right, go to John 14 and verse 15. If ye love me, keep my commandments, right? So if you love the Most High, you're going to keep his commandments. It don't matter if it's cold, hot, right, raining, storming, thundering, right? It's tornadoes outside. You got to keep the commandments, right? So, and if you want to on your own, you can look this up. Modest apparel is dresses, right? And then back in the ancient times, right, females did not wear pants. You were frowned upon as a female if you wore pants. That don't make sense, right? That was females wearing pants was picked up by the heathens, right? We got yoked up by the so-called white man, and then they put their own philosophies on us, and now we think it's okay to wear pants when females never wore pants before until coming to America or until the so-called white man start destroying our culture and start destroying who we were as a people, right? So I'm gonna read that again, Timothy 2 and verse 9. And like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness, right? So you gotta be extremely shy or modest, right? That's what it means to be shamefacedness. It's more so meaning modest. You gotta be modest as a woman, right? Because you don't want to be looking like some females. Oh, I want to look popping, right? When I walk into school or I walk into place, I want to be the first people, Slakia. I want to be the first person that everybody sees. I want to be the topic of the party, right? You're supposed to walk in. You're supposed to want to walk into wherever you're going and nobody notice you, right? You got to be shamefaced. You got to be modest and shy, right? You shouldn't be, as a woman, you shouldn't want to look glamorous, right? You got to be shy and shamefacedness, right? You got to have shamefacedness as a woman. And sovereignty, meaning to be serious, not with broided hair. And broided hair is braids and plaitings of the hair, like with fake hair, right? A lot of y'all get weave, extensions, whatever it is that y'all get, bobs, right? You can't get that, right? You're supposed to wear your natural hair, right? So it says, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array. So a lot of y'all like to, like I said, like to look glamorous, right? I gotta have that Dolce Gabbana. I gotta have Louis Vuitton bags, right? If it ain't Gucci, I ain't putting it on, right? Well, the Most High says, um, I'm going to reread it again, the whole precept. Timothy 2 and verse 9. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array. Right? So you can't adorn yourself with broidered hair, which is weave, bob, extensions, right? Or gold or pearls. So no jewelry, no flashy jewelry. You shouldn't have no jewelry on, right? You're supposed to be shamefaced, right? Shy or modest, right? Or pearls or costly array. Anything costly that costs a lot of money, you shouldn't be wearing it. Because like I said, you got to be shamefacedness, right? To the point where you got to be shy to wear that. Like, you don't even want nobody to see you with Gucci, right? You got to be shamefaced. And then to get more on the, like, the pants thing, right? I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 22, verse 5. And it says, the woman, Slakia, The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. Right? So pants pertain unto a man. Pants were made for men, not women. And dresses were made for females. Right? Until, like I said, the oppressor came and put their philosophies on us. Now there's men wearing dresses and there's females wearing pants. Right? And I'm going to continue. I'm going to reread it again, actually. Deuteronomy 22 verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. Right? So if you're a female and you wearing pants, you're an abomination to the Most High. Right? So don't take that too harsh. Right? Because you can always repent and start wearing dresses. Right? You're not just doomed. You're not going to be doomed. Oh, I'm wearing pants. Dang, I'm done. Right? But if you continue to wear pants, then you're an abomination. Right? If you continue to follow what you want to do, right, and do what you want to do, like it says in Timothy 4 and verse 3, there will come a time where we won't endure sound doctrine. Right? If you read this, I mean, slack it. If you watch this video and you hearing these precepts, right, and then you like, nah, I'm gonna just keep wearing pants, right? That's you not enduring sound doctrine, slack it, because this doctrine is sound and pure, right? This can save you from all things, right? The Most High can deliver you. The Most High is the only person that could deliver you out of trouble or out of calamity or out of desolate state. Right? So you got to keep the commandments, right? John 14 verse 15, if ye love me, keep my commandments, right? So that being said, I'm going to go to the next precept, Timothy 2 and verse 11, let woman learn in silence with all subjection, right? So as a woman, you're supposed to be, when a man is teaching you, right, you're supposed to, and I'm going to get deeper into that, don't worry, but you got to learn in silence with all subjection. Right? So when someone is teaching you, you got to just be quiet, right? And listen and learn, right? When you're in school and the teacher is speaking, if she's speaking and you speaking at the same time, are you listening? No. You're doing what you want to do and you're not worried about what she's teaching you, right? So you got to learn in silence with all subjection. Now I'm going to go to 1 Corinthians 14 and verse 35. If they will learn anything, let them ask their husband at home, for it is a shame for a woman to speak in the church. Right? So it don't literally mean church. It's speaking about when a group of brothers in the truth come together, that makes a church. Right? Say I call a couple brothers over, 5 brothers over, and it's a couple sisters here, and we come in and we sitting and reading. That's a church. That's a church session, Slakia, right? So when y'all in a congregation together and there's something being taught, right, by a man other than your husband, you gotta go to your husband and ask him, right? So you can't. What I'm trying to say is, Slakia, when y'all all together, you shouldn't be raising your hand. Oh, but what about this, right? Because what did he say? 1 Corinthians 14 and 35, if they will learn anything, let them ask their husband at home, right? So when that session is over and y'all go home, you got to ask your husband, right? What did that brother mean by that? What did that precept mean, right? You got to ask your husband. For it is a shame for a woman to speak in the church. So it's a shame for you when y'all in a congregation and you raising your hand, right? Your husband going to look at you like, look at her. She's not even following the commandment, right? She's supposed to be asking me. Right? And if your husband don't know, then you refer to another brother, right? But first you ask your husband. Your husband is the head of the household. So I'm going to go to the next precept. Timothy 2 and verse 12. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence, right? So a woman cannot teach. He says, but I suffer not a woman to teach. And that's in Timothy 2 and verse 12. I'm going to read it again. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man. Right? So when you go into school, right, when we go to school, and most of the time it's a female teaching, and she's teaching to a mixed class with men and females, that's wrong. If this was ancient times, if the Most High was among us, that thing could never happen, right? You would probably get put to death more than likely for doing that, right? Because that's a commandment for a woman not to be teaching, and there should be no woman usurping authority over a man, right? So let's use an example. When you go to church, there's female pastors, so-called pastors, right? But what did it say? Timothy 2 and verse 12, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence, right? So women are not supposed to be teaching, right? Y'all supposed to be learning in silence and being in subjection, right? So now I'm going to go to Timothy 2 verse 13. For Adam was first formed, then Eve, right? And that's why it goes like that. First came Adam, then came Eve. So if Adam was here first, what can Eve teach Adam? Nothing. He was here prior to her. He was here before her. And Slakia and Eve was formed out of Adam. So what can she know more than Adam, right? We were here first, right? Men were made first. So what can a woman teach a man, right? And a lot of y'all will get riled up. Oh my gosh, that's not true. Da-da-da. Well, once you're in the truth, right? I'm talking about once you come in this truth, right? A woman can't teach a brother how to do this and how to do that. Women can't break down the precepts correctly. They can't. That's why the Most High said, Timothy 2 and verse 12, but I suffer not a woman to teach, right? So y'all females can't be teaching, right? If y'all call yourselves so-called prophets or whatever, right? Y'all call yourselves nowadays, you can't be teaching. You can't be teaching brothers, and you can't be usurping authority over brothers, right? Because sometimes in relationships, I'm the alpha, right? The female will be like, I'm the alpha, right? You listen to me. That's wrong. That's folly, right? Back in the day, you would be put to death for that. And back in the day, there's no man letting that happen, right? So, Slakia. I'm going to go to the next precept. 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is... Slakia, Israel had a problem. But I'm going to reread it. 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ. And the head, and that means the person above the man is Christ, right? And the head of the woman is the man, right? So the man is above the woman, and the head of Christ is Yahweh, which is God, right? So the head of Christ is God. So God is a head of Yahweh. Slakia. Yahweh is a head of the Son, Yahweh Shai, right? So there's an order to things. That's why a woman can't usurp authority over a man, right? Because like I said in Timothy 2 and verse 13, for Adam was first formed, then Eve, right? So there's an order. And also when you read in 1 Corinthians 11 verse 3, which I just read, but I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man. And the head of Christ is Yahweh, right? So there's an order. So there, just like the Most High don't deal with confusion, right? There's an order to things. There's steps you got to take, right? Just like when you want to go to the league or you got a goal, right? There's steps you got to take. Just like when you come in this truth, as a woman, there's steps that you got to take to become a woman or a righteous woman, right? Because a lot of y'all in the world, oh, I got a job, I got this and that. I'm a woman. I'm grown. Da da da. But if you don't got this truth, if you're not following the commandments of the Most High, you still a child. You still a babe. You still don't know nothing, right? You still in the world. So now I'm gonna go to Acts 2 and verse 17, and it shall come to pass, right? Because I'm gonna just read it. Acts 2 and 17, and it shall come to pass in the last days, saith Yahweh, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. There's more to that precept, but that's all I wanted to get. The part where it says, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, right? So a lot of y'all be like, wait, whoa. I thought you said, well, not me. I thought the Bible said, well, the Most High said, women can't teach, right? But he's saying, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, right? So prophesying means to tell someone the things to come and etc., right? The things that are going to happen in the future, right? That's what prophesying is. When something is about to happen, that person is telling you it's about to happen. They prophesy to you, right? So females are supposed to prophesy, right? That's what I'm trying to get across, and I'm gonna get more precepts on that, right? So don't get it twisted. You cannot go and teach men. You cannot go and usurp authority over men, right? When it comes to a man, you got to be in silence. You can't teach a man, but I'm gonna get into that. But you can prophesy, right? You could prophesy. You can prophesy, right? Because females prophesy. So you can say, like, say for example, I'm a woman. I just came in the truth, right? And tomorrow, the Bible says tomorrow that it's gonna rain tomorrow, right? So I can go in the Bible and get the precepts and show you here. It says it's gonna rain, so here you go, right? So a woman can prophesy, but you can't teach. You can't be going into precepts, brother. You gotta follow the commandments. I mean, Slakia, brother. You can't. You gotta wear fringes, right? You can't be like, brother, this is what this breakdown means, right? You can't be trying to break down scriptures because you can't. You don't have the ability. You can prophesy. You can go into scriptures and see where it says this will come to happen, this will come to pass, right? Because the prophecies are pretty straightforward. It tells you what's gonna happen. Like it's not no real deep breakdown on it, right? But I don't want to ramble too much, right? But I'm gonna go to the next precept to explain what I'm saying in a way. So like I was saying, females can prophesy, but you can't teach, right? And I just explained what's the difference. So Titus 2 and verse 4, that they may teach the young woman to be sober. So woman, you can only teach woman, right? You can't go to a congregation of people where there's men and women in one place and be like, oh, I'm teaching. You can't do that. It has to be, if you coming in the truth as a female and you got a group of girls, right, that's in the truth also, y'all can come together, and if you if you came in the truth before everybody else and you know more, you could teach them, sister, you got to do this. But I'm going to show you what you can teach, right? Because it's about to show you. So females, you can't be going and teaching everything. You can't be doing that because you're going to end up going off and start telling us sisters false things because females don't have the proper understanding, right? As the man do, right? So, and we just read that in 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, right? So, ultimately, obviously, the Most High is the head of everybody. But on this level, right, the head on a knowledge level, right, men have more understanding than women. That's why the man is the head of the woman, and they're head of the woman because the head of the man is of Yahweh Shai, the Son. The Son dwells in the men and gives them wisdom and understanding, right? So, woman, you don't have the proper understanding to be breaking down everything, trying to show brothers this and that. You're gonna go off, right? So I'm gonna just read it instead of rambling. Titus 2 and verse 4, that they may teach the young woman to be sober. Sober meaning to be in this doctrine, right? Because when you follow the commandments and when you being in this word, you can teach sisters to come into this word, right? You got to show them like this is what's good for you, right? This is what you got to do as a woman. You got to come in this truth, right? So you can't be teaching everything, but you could teach them to be sober. Sober-minded meaning, like I said, being in this doctrine, right? And I'm going to continue to love their husbands. So women, you can teach other women to love their husbands. And I'm going to continue to love their children, right? So females, you can teach each other to love your husbands, to be sober, and to to love your husbands, to love your children, and to be sober, right? And I'm going to continue, verse 5, Titus 2 and verse 5, to be discreet, right? So you can teach each other like, sister, you shouldn't be wearing that bright red lipstick. We got to be discreet, right? Remember the Most High said we got to be shamefaced, right? You could teach them that, and it says, I'm going to continue to be discreet, chaste. Chaste meaning not to be a whore, to be, to slack it. Like, chaste means be, what's the word I'm trying to get? Basically, not be a whore. You gotta be humble, right? You shouldn't be out there sleeping with every guy, right? You gotta slack, like, what is it I'm trying to say? Basically, you can't be out there being a harlot, right? You could teach each other to be chaste, to be discreet, humble, to be at home, not to be sleeping with everybody, right? That's what it means. But to truly get the understanding, right? I'm a look the word chaste up for y'all, right? And I'll just read it. It's like it. Bear with me. Right? Chaste means non-sexual, friendly, platonic, innocent. Right? So you got to be innocent. You can't be out here sleeping with everybody. You can't be You got to be non-sexual, right? You can't be out here doing this and doing that with that guy, right? You gotta be non-sexual, right? Innocent, right? So that's what it means. You could teach each other to be chaste. Keepers at home, right? So you gotta teach each other, like, you gotta be keepers at home. When your husband is at work, right? You gotta be cleaning the house. You gotta keep the house clean, right? You gotta keep the house in order, right? Good, obedient to their own husbands, right? So you can teach each other to be obedient to your husbands, right? That the word of Yahweh will be not blasphemy. So those are the things that you as a woman can teach other women, right? So you can prophesy and tell people, like, this is what's going to happen, right? And that's what's going to happen. And on the other hand, you can teach each other to be these things, to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, right? Those are the things that a woman can do, right? So let's go to Proverbs 31 and verse 26. She openeth her, Slakia. Give me a moment, bear with me. Proverbs 31 and verse 26. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness, right? So you got to speak kind things, right? Females, you can't be out here, rah, rah, F you, you dirty, you bummy, right? You got to openeth your mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. So you got to speak kind things, right? That's wisdom. You can't be out here speaking and belittling people, Slakia, right? Because there's a lot of females out there that got a rah-rah mouth. Oh, Drigga, you not this, da-da-da. Like, come on. You can't be like that. That's being a fool. That's not wisdom, right? So I'm going to continue. Proverbs 14 and verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish, Slakia, plucketh it down with her hands, right? So that's saying, I'm going to reread it again. Proverbs 14 and verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house, right? So as a woman, you're supposed to be cleaning, keeping the house intact, Slakia. Make sure your children are doing fine, right? And you can't be nagging at your husband, right? Because that's plucking your house down, right? When you and your husband constantly arguing, right? That's not building up your house. You and your husband supposed to always be speaking kind things to each other, like it said in Proverbs 31 and verse 26. You got to open your mouth with wisdom, and your tongue got to speak the law of kindness, right? So you're not supposed to, like I said, be arguing with your husband, right? Because that's not building your house up. It says, every wise woman buildeth her house. So you got to build your house up. You got to make your house better, right? Because you're the keeper of the home, right? But the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. So the foolish woman, she not cleaning the dishes. She's not cleaning the house. She's not cleaning the bathroom. She's not doing what she's told by her husband. She's constantly arguing with her husband, right? Her kids not eating. Meanwhile, she got diamonds and Versace on her body, right? That's plucking your house down. That's being foolish, right? Now let's go to Proverbs 21 and verse 9. It is better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. So he's saying it's better to go to a top of in the top of the house, in the corner, right, in the attic, right, to dwell there. It's better to dwell there than with a brawling woman in a wide house. So your house can be a big mansion, right? From here to Texas, New Jersey to Texas, that's how big the house is. But it's better, he said, to live in the top of the house, in the corner of the house, than it is to live in a wide house with a brawling woman. And that's true. Because that woman, she just going to keep nagging. You going to go in that room, she going to open the door. Tyrone or Jacob or Alex this. Da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. You go in that room. She gonna go in there. You in the bathroom. She beating the bathroom door down. Right? It's better to live in the corner of the housetop than it is to dwell in the house with a nagging woman. Right? So you females, you don't want to be that woman. You don't want to be that woman that's always striving and arguing with your husband. Right? And to get the understanding, Slakia, of what a husband is, we got a video up on marriage. Right? And what a husband really is. Like, what it is to be married. My bad. That's what I meant to say, Slakia. So the next precept, Proverbs 9 and verse 13. A foolish woman is clamorous, meaning she rah, talking, always got something to say. She is simple and knoweth nothing. Right? So I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all know some females. Even me, when I used to go to school. Right? We went to school like 6, 7 in the morning. And there's females that's just up, ready to talk smack, ready to fight, right? Ready to clown the next man, right? Oh, his shoes is dirty. Oh, he bummy, this and that, right? Meanwhile, she's doing worse, and she's simple and don't know nothing, right? She the same person that's talking about that kid with his dirty shoes, but when it comes for Slakia, when it comes to the time of doing a test or her work need to get done, you know the answer, right? A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. So a woman that's always rah, blabbing her mouth, always talking, she is simple and knoweth nothing, right? And that's a foolish woman, right? So I'm going to go to Proverbs 31 and verse 30. Favor is deceitful, right? So a woman that's looking all enticing, right? She's desirable. That is deceitful. The Most High said favor is deceitful. And beauty is vain, right? But I'm going to go to favor is deceitful first, because a woman can look super enticing, and then once you get to know her, her vibes is very toxic. She got vexed demons and spirits on her, right? That you really don't want to deal with, right? You don't want those type of things around you, right? And beauty is vain. So a female looking beautiful, she looking glamorous, right? That's vain, because if she's just beautiful and don't got the spirit of the Most High, she not following the commandment, she vain. Like, what's the purpose of her? She's just good looking, that's it, right? But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised, right? So a woman that's not wearing braided hair, not wearing gold or pearls, right? Being shamefaced, wearing modest apparel, right? That's a woman that shall be praised according to the Most High. Right? And that being said, that's my last precept, but I'm going to end it with 1 John 14 and verse 15. If ye love me, keep my commandments, right? So these are commandments given to the woman, right, of the household, or woman in general. So these commandments, these things I just read, this is how you should these are the things the good things you must apply them to yourself, and the negative things you got to take them away from you, right? You got to purge those things out of you. Right? And those things might not be easy to do, but we also got a video on how to pray, right, and ask for repentance, right? So you gotta come back to the Most High, right? You don't want to be a foolish woman, right? You want to be a woman that shall be praised, right? So you got to follow the commandments. And a lot of y'all women will be out there and say, oh, I love God, but 1 John 14 and verse 15, if ye love me, keep my commandments. Right? So you got to keep the commandments. And that being said, Shalom Israel, giving all praise to the Most High Yahweh, which the world calls God, and Yahweh Shai, which the world calls Jesus. Shalom.